I found voices on a tape recorder that shouldn't exist, and now I can't stop listening to them, even though I know I should. What started as a lucky find at an estate sale has turned into something I can't explain. And the worst part is that every night there's a new voice. My name's Jake, and I'm 23. I do freelance sound engineering, mostly recording local bands, mixing podcasts, that kind of thing. It's not glamorous work, honestly, but at least I get to work with audio equipment, which is what I actually enjoy. I've always collected vintage recording gear. There's something about analog sound that digital just can't replicate. When I saw an estate sale listing for a house that belonged to a deceased sound engineer, I knew I had to go. The place was in the old part of town, run by the guy's nephew who just wanted to clear everything out. Most of the equipment was outdated. But then, I saw it. A Nagra III reel-to-reel recorder from the early 1970s. Portable, professional grade, the kind of equipment that was used for field recordings and film sound back in the day. It was in surprisingly good condition, and the price tag said $200. I asked the nephew if it worked and if it is usable, but he didn't know. He just wanted to clear the place out. I bought it anyway. Even if it didn't work, it would look cool in my home studio. When I got home, I set it up on my workbench and plugged it in. The power light came on, which was a good sign. I pressed play, not expecting anything. The reel started turning, and then I heard it. Static at first. Then, a voice. Male, middle-aged, speaking clearly but with this edge of panic in his tone.
Please, if anyone finds this, my name is David Marsh. I'm at the old Riverside, the warehouse. Can't see. So dark.
The voice dissolved into static. Then, silence. I rewound the tape and listened again. Same voice, same message, same abrupt cutoff. My heart was beating faster now. Something about the voice felt wrong. Too raw, too real. I went to my computer and searched. David Marsh missing. The first result made my blood run cold. David Marsh, reported missing in 1979. Last seen near the Riverside district, never found. I stared at the screen, then back at the tape recorder. This had to be a coincidence. Maybe someone had recorded a news report about the case. Maybe it was a prank, maybe... And I pressed play again. This time a different voice came through. Female, younger, terrified.
Someone help me, please. I don't know where I am. It's so dark. I can hear the trains, the bridge, under the...
Her voice broke into screaming. The sound cut off. My hands were shaking. I hit stop and just sat there staring at the machine. I rewound to the beginning. Played it again. David Marsh's voice. Then the woman's voice. Then silence. I searched her description. Young female. Screaming. Dark place. I found dozens of missing persons cases that could fit, but one stood out. Jennifer Cole. Missing since 1982. Last seen walking home from work. Never found. The dates didn't make sense. The recorder was from the 1970s. But these were recordings from different years. Different people. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about those voices. David Marsh, Jennifer Cole. Were they real? Were they still out there somewhere? At 3 a.m. I got up and went back to my studio. I pressed play. A new voice. Male, young, gasping for air. Help, can't breathe. Someone, anyone, please. Then silence. I felt sick. My skin was covered in sweat. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I searched missing persons cases all night. Found hundreds, thousands, too many to count. The next night, another voice, an older woman, crying, begging someone to let her go. The night after that, a teenager, screaming for his mom. Every night, a new voice. I started listening more carefully, trying to catch every word, every detail. Some voices were just screaming, just crying. Nothing useful. But others said things. Fragments. Pieces. The blue house. Maple Street. Behind the old. Where the tracks used to. Were they clues? Or was I just hearing what I wanted to hear? I started documenting everything, writing down the voices, the descriptions, searching for missing persons cases that matched. Some I could find, some I couldn't. But the pattern was clear. These were real people. People who had gone missing. People who had never been found. And somehow, this recorder had captured their voices. I called the police after the 5th night. They came to my apartment. 2 detectives. They listened to the tapes, took notes, asked questions. "Where did you get this equipment?" one of them asked. I told them about the estate sale, gave them the address. They investigated, talked to the nephew, searched the property. They found nothing. The house had been cleared out. The nephew had moved to another state. The equipment I'd bought was legal, purchased at a legitimate sale. "These recordings could be from anywhere," the detective said. "Old news broadcasts, archived 911 calls, audio from films. Without more context, we can't pursue this." "But the names," I said. "David Marsh, Jennifer Cole. They're real missing persons." "We're aware," the detective said. "But that doesn't mean these recordings are connected. It could be coincidence. It could be someone playing a sick joke." They left. Case closed. But the voices didn't stop. Every night at 3 a.m., a new voice appears on the tape. I don't even have to press play anymore. The machine turns itself on. The reels start spinning. And I hear them. Sometimes it's just a few words. Sometimes it's screaming. Sometimes it's crying. Always someone different. Always someone terrified. I've tried to get rid of the recorder. I unplugged it, took the reels off, locked it in a closet. But every night at 3 a.m. I hear it from wherever I've hidden it. The reels turning, the voices speaking. I've stopped trying to identify them. There are too many now. Dozens, maybe hundreds. I don't sleep anymore, I can't. Because I know what's coming. Every night. 3 a.m. A new voice. And I keep wondering, are these recordings of people who are already gone? Or are they recordings of people who are still out there somewhere, waiting to be found? I searched for the previous owner of the recorder, the sound engineer who died. His name was Richard Voss. He worked in film and radio in the 1970s and 80s. Lived alone. No family except the nephew. He died in 2023. Natural causes, according to the obituary. But when I dug deeper, I found something else. Between 1975 and 1995, over 40 people went missing in this city. Different ages, different backgrounds. No connection between them. The cases all went cold. No suspects, no leads, no bodies. Richard Voss worked as a freelance sound engineer during that entire period. He had access to studios, warehouses, abandoned buildings, places where someone could record, places where someone could hide. The police investigated him back then. Found nothing. He had alibis. He cooperated. He was cleared. But now I have his equipment, and I have these voices. Did he record them? Did he do something to these people? Or is something else happening here? Something I don't understand? I've tried to find Richard Voss's other equipment. His nephew sold everything at the estate sale. I've tracked down a few buyers, asked if they've experienced anything strange. Most said no. A few stopped responding to my messages. One person called me back. "Destroy it," she said. "Whatever you bought from that sale, get rid of it. Don't ask questions, just destroy it." Then she hung up. I should destroy it. I know I should. But I can't. Because what if these voices are real? What if these people are still out there somehow? What if I'm the only one who can hear them? When I listen to the voices, I feel this pull. Like they're not just recordings. Like they're reaching out. Like they need something from me. They're not just crying for help. They're leaving clues. Because what if no one else will hear them? What if I'm their only chance? But there's this pattern I started noticing. The voices don't just appear randomly. They say specific things, mention specific places, drop hints. David Marsh mentioned Riverside and warehouse, or at least I think he did. The audio was broken, distorted, but I looked it up. There was a Riverside warehouse, demolished in 1981. Jennifer Cole's voice was harder to understand, but I swear I heard trains and bridge. There's an abandoned rail bridge in this city. I drove past it last week. Couldn't bring myself to stop. The teenager who screamed for his mom? In between the crying, I heard blue and something that sounded like maple. I found a blue house on Maple Street, empty, for sale. Maybe I'm connecting dots that aren't there. Maybe I'm hearing what I want to hear because I need this to mean something. But the locations are real. The places exist. It's 2:47 a.m. right now. I'm sitting in my studio staring at the recorder. The reels aren't moving yet, but they will be, in 13 minutes. And I'll hear another voice, another person, another clue I might miss if I'm not paying attention. I've started keeping a map, marking all the locations they mention, trying to find connections, patterns, something that makes sense. I don't know what I'm looking for, because I can't shake this feeling, this instinct, that there's a reason I bought that recorder, that there's a reason I'm the one hearing these voices. And until I figure out what that reason is, I can't stop. The reels are starting to turn.